Day Tripper, the fastest way to plan a brilliant day out. Say where you're going, who you're with, and your vibe. In seconds you get a smart, map-ready itinerary with hidden gems. Ready? Try it out at daytripper.com. A perfect day the easy way.
Today's guest is my co-host, Abir. I met him in work. I asked him, would he come on the podcast with me a while back before we set anything up. It was supposed to be a debate between Islam and Christianity with Abir and a lad in work. The lad in work, who's super religious, couldn't commit to coming on as he felt he had to have the Lord's blessing to come on. Abir came on anyway. Ended up coming on as just being a guest to then becoming the co-host. He's asked me numerous times, can he share his story? Today we're going to share Abir's story. So Abir, whenever you want to get going, go on.
Yeah, so you guys already know me from co-hosting on this podcast, but there's a whole heap of background behind everything, why I got on here and why we started this whole thing. And essentially it's like to unveil the truth, I want to call it, because there's a lot of secrets that I've been holding on throughout my life, especially the last 20 years. And I feel that this is the year now where all the unveiling is going to take place, because I've held on to this secret for over 20 years. It's linked to my name, my date of birth, and it requires people to put their mind, like, you know, concentrate on what I'm revealing, because it's all to do with astronomy, astrology, as well as numerology, but not just in a singular aspect of faith, all across the board. I'm talking all religions, and it won't just reveal for myself, but I believe that it will reveal for the whole of humanity. Because if one was to do and copy what I share with you guys upon themselves, you will learn a lot more about your gifts and your powers that God has bestowed upon you guys. And we are all different. We are different from one another. We are all gifted in individual ways by the Lord of the Worlds, and these gifts are special to us. But the thing is, if you're going to live your life in an ignorant way, conditioned by the world, like the state, without spirituality, without faith, without seeking metaphysics and the kingdom of heaven within, heaven is cosmic. So your internal energies and influx of power within is linked to the cosmic heavenly realm. So basically science, religion and history go hand in hand, the way I explain everything. And essentially that's what I want to share with you guys.
Yeah, before we get to that, we'll go back to your childhood. If you want to start from there and bring us right the way through to your revelations.
So yeah, so I was born on 30th of April 1982 in a small town called Luton, which is just outskirts of London. I'm sure you guys have heard of this town. So I was born in April 30th, and from the time I was born to around, say, the age of, you know, I remember a lot of things of my childhood, especially the young age. So about 5, things were really good, but then things went a bit downhill, you know, with my parents, you know, like, you know, things went a bit downhill in their relationship as well, I suppose. And then I was migrated to Pakistan, and I was left there with my older brother and elder sister. So I was third child born out of the 5 children that my parents had. So I was bang in the middle. And the eldest 3 were left abroad without any parents to watch over us. So, you know, my childhood went through a lot of ups and downs, a lot of struggles, and I went through abuse, child sexual abuse even. So, you know, it was traumatic, very traumatic. Growing up was very difficult. I wanted to run away from home. So, you know, by the time I came back to England, where I was originally born in Biscot Road in Luton, my parents had a new house. In 1989, they bought a house where my dad still owns that house today, which is in the woods on a private little lane in Luton. And I pretty much grew up there then from 1993 to 1998, because 1993 I came back to England, started high school, well, juniors and then high school. And that's it. From 93 to 98, I finished high school, which was in Stopsley, Ashcroft High School. And then from there, I joined college. I started studying aeronautical engineering for a couple of years, and then I joined the Royal Navy. So this was my age up to the age of 17 to 18. I turned 18 years old in the armed forces. And then that same year, September the 11th happened as well. So it's a bit weird, because every time it's like I'm getting to a certain age, major things are happening. Like even when I was turning from 7 to 8, I left England and I was settled, put in Pakistan, and then I went through abuse for the next 4 years. You know, I was being targeted, and you know, that was a difficult journey in itself, because I had to navigate my life of making choices and decisions at a young, fragile age to go and hang out with an uncle, which will save me from the abuser. Because again, the abuser was my uncle, my own uncle, the youngest of my dad's brothers, who was abusing me. So anyway, you know, it's it's something that I can speak of easily today, because I'm healed over the, from the trauma that I went through, but it wasn't easy back in the day. So, so from there to 17, 18, again, from the age of 7, 8, from that child, when I was a child, from that age, and I saw my mother the last time. When I come back to England, mum's no longer there. She's, they're separated. Couldn't find her. I had to wait till I'm 21 till I found my mum again. So from the age of 7, 8, I never saw my mother until I was 21. So when I got into year 9, my dad got married again. My mum ended up getting married again, but I didn't know of this. They both had 2 more children. My dad had a daughter and a son. My mum had a son and a daughter. But I never knew none of this until I was 21, and I went looking for my mum, and I found her in London. I visited her, but I was really bitter inside. When I saw her, she had 2 more kids. I didn't like it. I felt cheated and betrayed. So I never spoke to her for 3 years. I separated from her, left in a dramatic way. And then it took me 3 years to level up with knowledge about spirituality and faith in order to accept my mum's choices and decisions, I suppose.
Do you think you have some resentment towards your mum and that for sending you to Pakistan where you were abused?
It wasn't my mum though, it was my father.
Oh, okay.
It was my father who took us there and left us there, because there's certain circumstances why he done that. Because my older sister and brother, we used to be going to the mosque. I was about 5 years old at the time, I think. And I used to walk to the mosque with them. Elder sister, brother, me. We used to walk to the mosque. They started bunking. So they used to nick money out of the charity pot and buy sweets and whatever. So they were bunking, and I'd just follow along because I'm the little brother. So follow along. I remember something very vividly, actually. In Westbourne Road, the mosque where in Luton, Westbourne Road was the biggest mosque. There was a Christian church sort of place there. And near Christmas, I remember it was all lit up and everything decorated, and we went into the church exploring, and doors were open. We went in exploring, and there was a special cross, like a crystal one, glass cross. And I just held that in my hand as a kid, and I just felt wrong. I smashed it. It all shattered into loads of pieces, and the priest got me. And he didn't punish me or anything. He just, took us away. And I think from there on we got caught. Parents got told. They found out we were bunking, and my mum beat us in the mosque. She took us to the mosque and said, "Oh, these kids haven't been coming to the mosque for 3 months." she went mad and she beat us up. And I think because of that, the social services got reported, and my brother and sister ended up going into social care, not me. They're going to social care, and I think it was all because of that. My dad thought, I'm going to lose my children. It's best I take them to Pakistan and leave them there. And I think this is where it all happened. And then by the time we come back, mum and dad were nowhere, they were separated. And that's how it all happened. So that was the reason I ended up getting left in Pakistan, I suppose.
When you get back to Luton though, after 4 years in Pakistan, you growing up in Luton as a teenager, how was that?
It was a big culture shock because where I was growing up in Luton was an Asian area, Biscot Road. Now, when I've come back to England, in 1989, my dad bought the house in Hart Hill Lane. It was nice countryside in the woods, basically. It's not countryside, but it's a house on a hill in a private lane in the woods. So very private. And it's in a white area, predominant white area, Stopsley. So I went to a school called Ashcroft High School there. Predominantly white, majority white people. And in the whole year, there was probably 5-6 Asian boys altogether. There weren't that many Asians back then in that school, so it was a culture shock. There was a bit of racism about back then as well, even in schools, but it wasn't bad though. It wasn't bad like the way it was, even in Pakistan I experienced racism because I was a foreigner, so they used to call me Englandi Chucha. It means Englandi, like a little chick. So they used to take the mick out of you, even in school there. But come back to England, same thing. So I used to speak to myself like, because from a young age, I was on my own. So I'll be going to sleep on my own, talking to God kind of thing, because I knew that there's a God there because he protects me. Because, if he wasn't there, I would have gone through so much shit. So I knew there was definitely a God there from a young age because, I was being protected by something higher, so I felt that. And as you grow up, from school days, you're still like naive. I was a very quiet kid because I went through abuse, so I would be very quiet, and I would really, really have to trust you as a friend for me to come out of my shell, for you to see the true version of me. Otherwise you won't. In my class, in my tutor group, I used to be very quiet. I never really used to talk to many people unless you were a good friend of mine and I felt safe and secure with you.
What was the school kids like with you? With being quiet, they can usually pick on the quiet ones, can't they? Did you suffer any form of bullying or that?
A little bit, I would say, but then not really. Well, a little bit. I was very quiet for the first couple of years, but then from year 9 onwards, I started rebelling. Not just within school, but also with family and stuff. Do you know what I mean? Because obviously the feelings are, as I'm getting older, then feelings are building up inside me of my past. I used to blame my family for it, but it is what it is. It's like trying to blame them, but then you come to reason and realize it's not your father. They don't even know about it. It's one person who's bad. But I don't even blame him even now. I look at it and I look back at things and I think, I blame the devil. And not just the devil, I blame the evil people who put porn and that sort of material in an area where, you're exploiting on people's weaknesses. Because at the end of the day, if that wasn't done, then these evil men won't have that built up inside them to target a youngster. Do you know what I mean? So that has to come from somewhere. So they're feeling aroused through porn and they pick the weakest person to target. Do you understand? So that's how that works. So when I look at that and I break things down in my mind and analyze the situation, I'm thinking, do you know what? As evil as he is, he got built up and put, he built himself up to do that to me, and he knew that I've got no parents. So I was the easiest option to target. Do you understand? Otherwise, if I had my parents been there, protection or whatever, he wouldn't have dared done that. Do you understand? So he built himself up and built the confidence and the courage inside him to attack me, to do what he did or try to do. Do you know what I mean? So I had to break it down. But at the end of the day, that requires a lot of energy in itself, you know, to meditate and think all these things. Do you know what I mean? It's not just easy to think of cause and effect. Why would someone come and target a child in the first place? So you have to put yourself into the predator's mindset, try to put yourself in the other person's shoes, which is something that I always do. Whenever I analyze something, you know, do something, I always try to put myself in that person's shoes and to analyze why would someone do that.
Yeah, it's good way of thinking. Like today, put yourself in their shoes.
You have to.
Some dark places to go as well if you're doing that.
You have to. It's the only way, you know, it's the only way you can bring judgment in its true way. You have to put yourself in their shoes. And I always do that. But then I know I wouldn't be a scumbag like that. I would never do that because I wouldn't be a wrong'un. I don't let weak things rule over me. You know, greed for money, greed for, you know, the 7 deadly sins, any of them, I do not let them rule over me. So I stay within my humility because of that. You know, I'm a very open person. I speak from the heart, as you already know. So, you know, ultimately, I believe in absolute and truth with absolutes. Without that, you're guessing or you're leading to assumption, and you know, that's not true. You're either here or there, you're 50-50, that's not true. So you have to be with absolute, otherwise there's only absolutes for me. There's concrete belief or you're in wishy-washy place.
Yeah, you said from year 9 you started rebelling. Did that lead you down a different path then from year 9 and you left school?
No, I started getting into trouble basically. I stopped basically allowing myself to get bullied, and now I started fighting and retaliating to bullies, and I actually became I started helping people who are coloured like myself, from Muslim background. When they're getting racism or bullied, I will step in and help them out. You know, built up a little crew with my year boys and people a year below me, and from there on, it's just went into year 10. I started basically driving. We used to find stolen cars in the woods where my dad's house used to be. Guys used to dump cars there, like Vauxhall Cavaliers or Vauxhall Belmonts or Novas or whatever. So we used to go into the woods playing Tarzan and whatever. And we used to find these dumped cars there, and then as kids you go inside there saying, oh, there's a screwdriver, there's wires, and we managed to start the car. And then where I used to be, my dad used to be a driving instructor when I was a kid, so I used to sit in the back of his car as a 3-year-old kid, 4 or 5, and he's giving lessons, and I knew how to drive just by listening to him, but I'd never done it. So in these cars I started doing what he was saying, biting point, this, that, and the car started driving. And I was like 6. So next thing, I'm driving on the private lane with my mates, and it's literally like watching Indiana Jones, where the guys are on top of the roof, on top of the train fighting. So one guy's driving, 2 mans are fighting on top of the roof like kids. That's how it was on the bonnet, and we're just driving, and people, we were having a sick little adventure with these little cars, and every day there was a new different car they dumped, and we'll find it, and then we'll just put the screwdriver and turn the black box, and it'll fire up. And we got this Cavalier CDI one time, and we had this for about a month. So we'll link up at the bottom of the road, all in our school uniform, and then jump in the car and drive to school. And we're like 13-year-old little kids, 13, 14-year-old little kids driving to school and parking the car up at lunchtime, going away to the car and just showing off at front of the girls. So, you know, little adventures like that. And then ended up getting arrested. The first time I ever got arrested was, I was 15 years old, and I got a caution. So yeah, that basically started, I was basically rebelling, I suppose, but at the same time having fun with my boys, with my friends. They'll sneak out of the house at 1 in the morning, nick their dad's car key, and then come pick me up. And we'll go driving or whatever late night, and then go home, sneak back in through the window. And yeah, we had little adventures like that, loads of little messing around things. And in those days, it was easy to get away from the police because you get pulled over and you just get a producer, you make up a name
Yeah, I remember
on the
them,
spot, and you just keep your date of birth the same, just add a few years, and you just work it out in your head, and you blag yourself out of trouble, and then you don't worry about the producer. But nowadays you can't do that. It's all digital, right? So yeah, good old days.
Yeah, I remember the producers, you could get temporary insurance and it wouldn't show up on the police database until a week after you've had it. So there was times when I couldn't get insured on my car, I'd get temporary insurance, which is fine, but it would only last like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Sometimes I would have no insurance. I've got plenty of mates who will tell you I've drove around with no insurance, but I would tell police when I got caught, I'm insured. And I don't know how it worked. People probably think I'm lying, but I told police one time, I'm insured, it doesn't show up on your database until a week after. And they let me just go. And I was like, it's weird because I've just told the police officer how their database works and he just accepted it and let me go.
Yeah.
So and relate with you on them producers and that. And it was a better way with them producers. You could get away with a lot more, couldn't you?
Get away with a lot more, and not just that, like, to be honest with you, even if you did have a producer, like, even when I was 17, like, I swear down, you could get away with fake cover notes.
Yeah.
Just present a fake cover note in the police station.
Yeah.
At a certain time because the offices are closed, and boom, 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 accepted, job done, and you're gone. It was sick, and this is like how it used to be, but not anymore. They're all on top of it now. Everything's on the mid. Mid is connected to the police. They've got, they can tell now. Everything's all digitalized. So,
from your first run-in with the police, did that become a bit of a habit for you then? Run-ins with the police?
Not straight away, actually. No. So that I got arrested first time at 15, but I'll be honest with you, I never messed around really. I did start smoking weed, I suppose, at the age of 17, but like I still never got into trouble. First time I got into trouble properly was at the age of 21. So I joined the Royal Navy at 17, turned 18 in the armed forces. I finished the armed forces at the age of 21. I decided to resign, and I went looking for my mum. I found my mum. Was a bit heartbroken there as well. Yeah, so I started going off the rails from the age of 21, I'd say, and a lot older people, like guys who were a lot older than me, I started basically messing around and holding their drugs and whatever led from there basically. So I started going off the rails from that age, and I didn't realize what I'm doing, but the first ever charge I think I got on my record is possession of A-class substance. I think it's brown and crack, so I was holding this stuff for someone. Basically, we're in a closed road and the traffic police just came and pulled up right out front of the car now. They searched everyone, and I literally came out. They asked me to come out with so many rocks to load up the person. They were sitting and chatting, and the stuff was in my pocket. So when I got searched, they found it and they arrested me. And I must have had like 5 wraps of brown, 5 wraps of crack. Do you know what I mean? That's still A-class, isn't it? So the guys were like, shit. They're like, oh my God, he's gone. But obviously I've got no record on I was squeaky clean. Never been in trouble officially. So with this incident, my little room window was a little bit open, and my mate must have sneaked into my room, and there was a whole bag full of loads of pebbles of brown and crack, which I'm holding for these older dealers. I didn't even know what I'm doing. So this is like fucking, do you know what I mean? Like, lucky my mate, you took that out. They didn't find nothing. My whole room was nice and clean. And I came home after being released on bail, and I had a Quran sitting next to my bed, which I haven't read for 6 months, and I opened a page and it had a prayer on there, which I saw in the cell, which I've also read in the Bible, actually, that same prayer, where God says, Jesus, I think Jesus saying in the prayer, like, thank us for our daily bread, and thank us for this, and thank us for that. Like, I'm thinking, like, someone had that written on the wall in the cell, and it was like straight there. So it made me see, like, wow, I couldn't believe it. So now I've got this A-class charge on my head, and I'm on bail for that. And I'm thinking, shit. Like, what the fuck? Like, do you know what I mean? So I am worried, and no one wants to be associated with me because they're thinking, like, he must have snitched. He should have definitely been remanded, blah, blah, blah. But the thing is, I didn't snitch on nobody. it's first time ever been arrested for something serious. And there was a solicitor, her name's Minal Raj, yeah, she's sick. She was sick. She used to show me so much love, yeah. She done the whole case for me and I walked away. I got a suspended sentence, 2 years suspended for that, and that's it. That's the only really B's and brown and cracked charge I've ever got on my whole record. I've got 6 pages of DBS double-sided, as you've seen, and that's the first major charge on my record. But then after that, later on, then I started getting into trouble. Then almost daily, every other day I was getting arrested. Police had it in for me, and they turned my life upside down always, man. They went out of their way looking for me. They used to have briefings in the morning briefings. Like, police officers told me that they had a briefing before they start their shift in the morning. So they all the police officers are in a room and they have a briefing to catch me. They have to catch a guy called Terry and Co. So this started off like a bit later, but yeah, I basically become infamous in that town, a bit of a rebel. But I wasn't naughty in the sense that I never violated anybody, I never hurt a soul, I never bullied anyone. I don't believe in hurting people. I believe in my success came from having my heart on my sleeve and treating people with love and kindness and giving, you know, the best customer service, value for money, the maximum, you know, the biggest size that of weed that you can get. You know, I wasn't mugging people off. And not just that, I had sincerity to a level that if someone's struggling and they haven't got money and they wanted a tick, I told them straight. I said, look, I'll give it to you on the proviso that tomorrow when you got money, you're going to ring another dealer. And if I find that, I'm not going to be happy. So when you got money, you only ring me. Don't worry about the tick. I'm not going to ask for the money. It's when you can afford it. Just pay £1 or £2 in your own time. As long as you keep ringing us and not another dealer, that's it. That's it. I want loyalty. As long as you can stay loyal, I'll give you a tick. And then as I gave him a tick, I wasn't even bothered about the money back. The truth is, to me, it was like, I just want to see that they are loyal and I want to see an effort from them. If they pay once or twice, that's it. Third time, the tick is, you know, it's basically, don't worry about the tick.
Yeah.
And they were like, no way, and the word will spread. And that's how I took the monopoly of the whole of Dunstable, surrounding villages, Luton, Harpenden, St Albans, all the like Welwyn Garden City, all the surrounding little towns, Wheat Hampstead, and all, you know, all these little smaller villages that connect on to the bigger towns. Like, basically they were all under my I had the monopoly for them, and the people would rather ring me than to ring 5, 6 or 10 other dealers. All their businesses, like, imagine your phone does £1,000 a day. Once I come on, your sales will drop and you'll only do 200 a day if you're lucky. I had the whole monopoly on all the territories. Like, it was sick. And yeah, I was just cashing up the money, man. I was driving a supercar when I was 25, like a Line 11 Turbo S. Do you know what I mean? So I had like 6 cars. I had a Ducati, penthouse apartment, you know, living it good. And I started from nothing. I was broke. So I started from nothing. I built my life up, but there was no peace. I thought buying material things will give you happiness. They don't. By the time I, you know, going back to 2017 when I got my last custodial sentence, you know, I was living in a penthouse on top of a hotel in Watford in the town centre. You got the Holiday Inn, and the top 3 floors of that are apartments where you got barristers and doctors even living there. Like, my neighbours were doctors, specialists. And I'm sitting there. I had 2 car park spots. I had either a Ferrari or a Lambo or a G-Wagon. Always had 2 cars, an Aston Martin or something else. So there was always 2 fat cars on my parking slots. And I was on the top floor, and where I was looking out, I could see the police station, the Watford police station in the town centre. So I could see exactly what time a car's coming out or traffic police is coming out. So I want to leave my apartment until the coast is clear, and I'll just go down through the lift, jump in the car, just drive out. So, you know, it was a sick sort of setup I had. I had a restaurant in central London and a supercar hire business as well. So we were renting out a lot of cars, doing a lot. But I was like the backbone of the whole operation, because without my money from the way I was earning it to funding these legit operations, people they didn't really, I think, people were trying to outmaneuver me and snake me, my own friends. They thought, yep, let's put him away and we'll take everything. But little did they know that once they put me inside, they're not going to get the cash flow that's been keeping all these things afloat, so this is where they messed up. And then obviously once I got caught and remanded, the whole empire kind of came crumbling down, and these guys couldn't maintain it. So 2 years on, they had to lose the cars because the cars were on lease. You don't buy these cars outright. You buy them on lease because you want the latest stock every 2 years. So that's how I was doing it. I thought, you got to lease them rather than buying them, because it doesn't make sense to buy them. So my personal cars that I own, yes, I bought them out. So I still have, over 30 cars in my collection. But the thing is, they're all classic and old dogs. Do you know what I mean? I don't really rate them, but modern cars is different. So yeah, still, by the time I ended up going inside, come out, I had something to fall back on, I suppose. So yeah, that's
do you blame your trauma from your past life in Pakistan and how you went about your teenage years? I mean, you were in the military, you said. You resigned from that, which we'll go into that in a minute, why you resigned, and the fact that you ended up in jail. Do you think the trauma led you down the wrong path?
Yeah, trauma did. It made me blame my family. I had certain incidences in my town as well, from people I looked up to, people who were like, dear to me in terms of friends. I thought I looked up to a certain person, and this person turned on me and he violated me in a verbal way, I suppose. And he made me feel really small, said some horrible things to me, and I went away and I cried and I prayed to God for their success, for whatever they envied me. I wanted God to give them so much wealth that they don't even look at me in an envious way no more. And God listened to that prayer. They did become wealthy. They stopped envying me and all of that. But it came at a great price for them, I suppose. Do you know what I mean? So at the end of the day, when two wrongs don't make a right, you can't do wrong to a certain person and think that you're going to still be blessed, even though that person has prayed for them. Do you know what I mean? They don't even know that I prayed for them, but I did. And the thing is, it all comes down to betrayal, man. Everything, it's like you do good for others and people will always throw it back in your face and spit at you. No matter how much good you do, people will always look for excuses to hate. And I don't hate on others, man. I've got no time to hate. I've got no time to fill myself with darkness or animosity inside, because animosity, it is darkness. It's heavy. Darkness, depression, anxiety, all these things are heavy. Bliss and feeling top of the world is light. Do you know what I mean? You feel feather light, and that's what you want. You want to be in feather light sort of notion as much as you can. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, man, it's just it's been a weird journey. I'm trying to go over things in a brief way rather than to go really, really open up the can of worms, because otherwise we're going to be sitting here for ages, man. Do you know what I mean? If I go through the whole story, through the nitty gritty, and then it'll get quite graphic and emotional, which I don't want to start crying, because talking about graphic aspects of 4 years in Pakistan of your childhood, what you had to endure is not going to be easy, man. You don't want to be there. Trust me, being in a third world country without your parents, a man trying to attack you, to abuse you, and then you're having to, as a child, having to calculate in your brain that I need to go and hang around with this uncle of mine who's going to protect me of this little savage uncle, the waste man, who's the youngest brother, So I need to go and hang out with my other uncle, and he's gonna basically, he's in the shop. So as an 8-year-old kid, I'm gonna have to work from every day. I have to work from 12 o'clock or 1 o'clock till 4, 5 o'clock, because that's the hottest time. It's the hottest day, part of the day. So if I'm working, people normally used to go to sleep from 1 o'clock in the hot part of the day. So this is where my uncle used to try to grab me and take me to bed. He was trying to take me to bed. So can you imagine now a kid having to pick the older uncle who's more stronger, and he's saying, no, Abir's staying with me. He's keeping with me. And he's like, no, you're not going to work. You're going to go to sleep. It's your turn to work. He's like, fuck off, yeah? And what? What are you going to do? It's my turn to work. You fuck off, innit? Why are you trying to take Abir? He's trying to take me. So my uncle now, I'm having to work from 1 o'clock to run the shop, where he's going to put his little mattress in the back and go to sleep for the next 4 or 5 hours. But in that time, whilst he's sleeping, I'm serving customers and I'm safe. But no kid should have to be forced to work for protection. But I had to do that because if I didn't do that, this prick uncle will force me to bed and then he's going to try to abuse me. So I don't want to be with him. Do you know what I mean? Mentally, I don't want to be with this prick. So this is how I'm navigating my life now, having to work or whatever. But, you know, I done that and saved myself from being abused, I suppose, isn't it?
So because you've done that, what I get from that is you were working to stop yourself being abused, going through life. You would have to stay busy, like when you're Terry and Co and all that. You would always happen to do something. You felt like it was a safety blanket for you.
You know what? Nail in the head, bro. I swear down. You know what? I've got to touch you for that. You're smart, yeah? Because when you're feeling down and depressed and mental health, I was suffering from mental health. Now, when Terry and Co started, I used to go through depression. I used to be on my own thinking about things, and I'm sharing my story to my friends. My friends didn't know how to take it. They turned on me. They turned on me because they thought, oh, this guy's gone crazy, he's gone cuckoo. But I'm not. You know, I've trained you fucking people and taught you how to, like, they work for me. I've taught them how to hustle. Now they're making £1,000 a day on their little line. When they started, oh, I made £200 like it's fucking some serious money. And I'm like, mate, if you're getting gassed up by making £200, do you know what I mean? Like, let me show you how it's done. So I put them under my wing and I'm showing them how to make £1,000 a day, which was still shit because by the time I finished, I was making $3,000 a day just on shots. And then my other line, fucking three. So we were smashing it, right? But these guys now, I've taught them everything they know, and then they turned on me. And that's fine. I was upset about it because I've been there for them. I was there for their mums, used to pick them up, take them shopping, whatever. You know, I was more than a brother to them, more than family even. Yet these people gave me the cold shoulder, and it hurts because when you show love to people when they are beneath you, lower than you, you help them, you help their family, and then they turn on you without any explanation, it breaks your heart. So it did break my heart. It did make me upset, but it doesn't matter because I've elevated so much more since then. You know, I've come full, you know, I've elevated to another level, you know, compared to them. And it's not a competition, but at the end of the day, whatever worked for me, I taught everyone. I've never been selfish in holding secrets. I told them, I said, look, read the Quran start to finish in English, and I promise you it will transform your life. And I said, how? They said, how? I said, because it will teach you how to be a man. It'll teach you how to give and take and how to be in your own confidence, that your word is your bond, all of these things. It'll teach you how to be a man more than any other education. So they done that, they applied that. I said, watch your blessings come in, and it did. So whatever I showed them, it was out of the goodness of my heart. What's worked for me is what I'm telling you. What's not worked for me, I'm gonna tell you. And if you do go down that way, you're gonna get your fingers burnt, I suppose. So that's it. You have to give guidance in accordance to your own experiences rather than making shit up. I don't believe in that.
Before we go on to the faith, because I know you found a lot more in faith when you were inside, just wanted to ask you, what was your reason for resigning from was it the Navy?
Yeah, the Navy. Okay, so Navy was an escape. I wanted to run away from home. The person I mentioned earlier who done bad to me, he said, you know, my mum said some bad things, I suppose, inside the whole town. because my mum and father were going through divorce. She wanted her children, my dad wanted the kids. So obviously you're going to throw shit at each other, and some of the shit that my mum threw at my father wasn't true, and people used that and started to attack me over it. But I cleared the air with certain people who spread the rumors, and they accept their wrongdoing and they've apologized to me, I suppose. So that's part of my thing. But the thing is, these people did, one of these people was also a person who ended up kidnapping me or abducting me. Okay, so I was abducted by some serious people, and I warned them. I did say to them that if you're going to hurt me, something bad's going to happen to you. They said, yeah, God, it's not going to do nothing bad. You're selling drugs. I said, no, I'm only selling weed. I sell weed, and I don't put a gun on no one's head and force them to buy off of me. I give a good service, and it's a business. The way I see it, it's a business, and I'm good at what I do, and that's why people come to me. But you lot are plotting and scheming to get to me through my brother, and I've shown up, no backup, nothing, and now you're trying to exploit money off of me. But what they wanted was me to sign off my car over to them, because I used to have a 911 Turbo S, it was a sick one. Everyone used to love it, and they wanted my car. I said, there's no way you're going to get my car. So they beat me up. I got a little scar here. Oh, yeah. So that was them. 6 of them, by the way, in the house. And this was around about 2012, I'd say. The very next day, basically, one of the guys got a taser gun, 50,000 volts. He basically tasered my private parts. I screamed. And then he tasered me again, and I screamed. And he didn't have no reason to, because I gave him my card and I gave him the pin for it. He wanted the pin, but I said, look, you're only going to get £250 out. That's the limit on my card to get cash out. And then, so what he done was he waited till like just before 12 o'clock. He went to the cash machine, HSBC. He took £250 out, and then after 12, he put the card in again, got another 250 out, right? So he got away with £500. And the idiot got himself recorded. So he was recorded on CCTV camera taking the money out. Now, before I got taken, I went to meet these lot and I got abducted. I told them, if I'm not back in half an hour, you call the police. They did call the police. So by the time they released me at 4 or 5 in the morning, there was police all over my house, and they bloody picked me up. So I'm battered up, bleeding. I was in a state. Police taking a whole statement off of me. But I ended up dropping the charges, because that person who took the cash money out, he was on the front page of the newspapers all over England, because he was driving down Woburn Abbey Safari Park the very next night, and he crashed the car, and there was a girl inside the car, an English girl, and she burnt in that car, and he only saved himself. So it was all over the newspapers. Oh, Asian guy, boom, boom, boom. The Sun, everywhere. Daily Mirror, all the newspapers. It was all over. And he ended up going to prison as well for that. So basically, the karma came back like I warned them. Like I said, they said, oh, we're prepared to take our chances. I warned them. They didn't listen. So all their lives turned upside down within the week. So the guy who brought me there, who I trusted, his mum passed away in that same week as well, within like 5 days later. So basically all their lives turned upside down. And yeah, that's how that incident ended. And I dropped charges on everyone. I thought, what's the point me pressing charges when people have lost loved ones? God has given the ultimate judgment to these lot for fucking with me, literally. So I thought, there's no point pressing charges. I've got to be man enough to drop them, because they've been hit a lot harder, and those people that are gone, they're not coming back now. Do you know what I mean? So I dropped charges because of that, out of principle. But they did get away with whatever money and drugs they took off mine. They did get away with that. I never got that back, but I suppose it is what it is.
You ended up in jail. That's where you found your faith, wasn't it? Was that where you found your faith, in jail?
No. I actually found out, I would say from the age of 23 to 25, so I knew exactly who I am.
After prison, was that?
No. Prison came after. So this is when I was younger. So after the Navy, I went looking for my mum. Once I found my mum, I went on the journey for 3 years to learn about faith and everything, religion. And then after that, I became the kingpin of the shopping stuff scene. Basically, I found God, and then after I found God, close friends of mine turned their back to me. They thought I'm gone nuts. But then, once I started making the money, and I bought my car, the Porsche 911 Turbo S, and all these fancy cars, all these friends who turned their back on me started coming back to be my friends. And I realized that, do you know what? It doesn't matter how good you are, how sincere you are, how good your heart is. The world doesn't show respect to that. What they show respect to is when someone's got money, when they got a flashy car. That's what they fucking respect. They don't respect someone who's a godly man, who's sincere at heart, who's got good qualities in him, who's honest, who's trustworthy, who's, everything under the sun is good. But because he's poor, doesn't have a nice car, they don't want to fuck with him. They think he's a waste man. And that's the reality. And that's what I found. And it broke my heart. I cried in front of certain close friends of mine. I said, what the fuck do you want from me now? What do you want? I'm a drug dealer now. I'm a bad person. But you fucking turned your back to me when I told you the truth, and I was none of this. Now I'm a bad person selling weed and blah, blah, blah. You want to fucking be my friend. Do you know what I mean? It's like, it's not nice, is it? So that's what I found, and it is what it is. But, it did affect me back then. I wasn't as strong as I am today. Mentally, I'm not. I was very naive. I got screwed over left, right, centre. Everyone who I cared. I never worshipped money, I'll be honest with you. I made so much money, I wanted to get rid of it always. Every time I had 50 grand, I'll give it away, invest it with someone. I never saw it back. I never saw that money come back to me. But I know that it destroyed my family. Money is the root of all evil, so I don't worship it. As much as I know how to earn it, I'll never worship it. So yeah, you guys, since you've known me, you always see me driving flash cars and all that. But
Yeah, you've always got a different car, like.
Always got sick cars. But the thing is, I don't worship money. God makes it happen. God makes me have the best of everything. No problem. I normally get blessed with the very best of everything. Whatever I want, God makes it happen. But I don't worship money. I live in a small house, 2-bedroom. I can afford to go and buy a big house, but I don't want to. Why am I going to go buy a big house when it's only me and my wife? We don't need a big house. So I'm thinking, okay, the next plan of action for me is I've secured myself. I don't have to work. God, I get my rental income every month. Now I want to make sure I can do that for my wife, but on a much grander scale. Rather than buying a house, I'm going to buy a whole office building in the town centre of Liverpool, turn it into loads of flats, rent it out, and then my missus can retire from a job, and then she can manage that and manage all the accounts, and that's it. Do you know what I mean? So that's something I want to work towards, helping my close friends, my wife, then my close immediate friends from there, so I can help them level up so they don't have to work and be a slave of the system, because that's what this system does. It wants to program you to be subservient as a slave to it. But if you learn the loopholes and the system, how these government politicians have created these loopholes for themselves and the rich and the elite, if you learn them and implement them in your life, you will level up far easier, where you won't have to work hand to mouth on the job front side of things. Do you know what I mean? So that's what I've done, where I've safeguarded myself, and now I want to safeguard my wife and certain family members, and then hopefully help them and those that are willing to listen. Because at the end of the day, what I find is everyone is like, I don't want to be disrespectful, but there's peasants out there, the normal class of, you've got top of the food chain, and then you've got the bottom of the food chain. And the majority of people who are the working class are at the bottom of the food chain, literally, you're hand to mouth, because you are subservient to the system that you're programmed in.
Yeah, I kind of agree on that.
Do you mean? So how do you escape from that? And, there's a way to escape. Hard work has to pay off. you know, if you're going to do hard work, for example, when I started working with you in the, I was committed to my craft, to my job, day in, day out, 12-hour shifts. But I done it for a reason, because I needed the pay slips. Them pay slips every month that I got allowed me to go and purchase £1 million+ house in London. Now I own that with 8 rooms. It's turned to a HMO. I get fucking 8 grand rental income sitting on my ass every fucking month. What's the point me working in the 12-hour shifts, 40+ hours to 60 hours a week for fucking 2.5, 3 grand if I'm lucky after tax, where I'm getting way more than double that sitting on my ass without doing no work. And that took me 1 year. 1 year's pay slips allowed me to level up, boom, from here, the ground, all the way here. Do you understand? So this was after I come out of prison, and it wasn't easy because I got a fucking 6-page DBS here.
Yeah, you were going through it with me, yeah.
6-page. So for me to get a job out there, it's very difficult. But I managed to do it because I had qualifications from the Navy, which allowed me to come into the... And then from that, I worked, put my head down for 1 year, leveled up her whole heap. Now I'm ready to come out into the world to unveil myself, because now God has taken care of me. I can now start focusing on what God wants me to do in terms of sharing the knowledge of the metaphysics and true spirituality with the whole of the world, so the whole of the world's people can copy, implement it on themselves to really truly awaken from within. Okay, because it's all internal. You need to recognize these feelings, you know, from within, to light up your mind and everything else.
Do you think that's what Andrew Tate done? Because he escaped the Matrix. That was sort of similar to what you were saying there.
Andrew Tate. Listen, Andrew Tate was a 19-year-old boy when he met me in Luton. Okay, and I still remember this because I gave him my name and I said to him, Tate. I said, I used to, when I was in prison, this is before, so in 2011, 2012, I went into prison in 2009, 2010, something like that. So I met Andrew Tate when I come out because I gave my Dunstable operation to a guy called Ned, Nahid Mahmood from Luton. So I gave him my operation of Dunstable. It was a Terry & Co line. That was my mega line, yeah? So I passed that on to him, and this is before Andrew Tate went to America, yeah? So I said to him specifically, I remember, Tate, there's the Essex Boys. There was a Pat Tate in there, right? So he was infamous, right? He used to drive Porsche Turbos as well, right? So he had a 993. So I said to him, there's an infamous South, as a gangster back in the days, and his name was a Tate. He was a Tate as well. But I told Andrew, I gave him my phone number. I really liked him, and he sat in my car for hours. Yeah, he must have picked up a drawer, but 4 hours he was in my car the first time, and then he sent two occasions he was in my car for a very long time, and I was banging shots. And I said to Andrew, I said, listen, forget shotting. He's like, what do you mean? I said, listen, there's so much betrayal in this. My heart has got so many scars of betrayal because I show love to people, and every time someone snakes you, it leaves a scar on your heart. It's not a nice feeling, yeah? So I said this to him, and I said, you're only going to get betrayal out of men. Men are going to constantly betray you, yeah? Because they're going to get envious. They're going to think, he's a small guy, but he's fucking smashing it. So they're going to think they're capable, more capable than you. Little do they know that I'm a people's person. I recognize people, and I get to know them for what they are and their struggle and pain. And that's how I build relationships. I get to know people. And I said to Andrew, I said, look, forget dealing, forget shotting, it's all shit. If I was not a Muslim, exact words I said to him, if I was not a Muslim, I'd be pimping hoes. I swear down, I said that. I said, I swear down, I'm not making this up, yeah? And he will confirm this. If he sees this podcast and he'll see this, he'll recognize me straight away. He'll be like, shit, that's that guy Terry. But he didn't know my real name. My real name's Abir Mirza, right? But he knew me as Terry & Co. I was like a prince of the city. Wherever I went, Terry, everyone. All white people, bro, majority, okay? So you might even see them in the comments. Anyone from Dunstable or Luton or Harpenden, St. Albans, they knew me. And I said to Andrew, I said, look, forget dealing, forget shotting, it's all shit. If I was not a Muslim, I'd be pimping hoes. I swear down, I swear down, I'm not making this up, yeah? And he will confirm this. If he sees this, he'll recognize me straight away. He'll be like, shit, that's that guy Terry. But he didn't know my real name. My real name's Abir Mirza, right? But he knew me as Terry & Co. I was like a prince of the city. Wherever I went, Terry, everyone. All white people, bro, majority, okay? So you might even see them in the comments. Anyone from Dunstable or Luton or Harpenden, St. Albans, they knew me. And it's like I said to Tate to basically get in with the women. Women will show you so much love. If they love you, they will do anything for you. And if you can do it as a business where you exploit women on front of a camera, and there's desperate men out there who will fucking throw money at it. Do you know what I mean? And it worked. I just said this to him. I didn't expect the guy to, he goes to me, he's going away to America. And he did go to America. I left him my phone number, but then my number changed after I went, I don't know, my 07960992991, that was the phone number I used to have. And I gave him that number. And, you know, after I went to prison 2017, I lost that number because I was away for so long, I couldn't get my number back. So that's how I lost that number. But I gave Andrew my number and I said to him, look, I like you. I liked him as a kid. And I said to him, you know, like, you know, when I see someone with potential, I want to put them under my wing. So I saw potential in that boy. Little did I know that he's going to take everything that I taught him, like told him, he's going to implement in real life and smash it. And he did. And I rate him for it because at the end of the day, he's also come to the truth of Islam, you know, regardless of what people say.
He's back Christian now, isn't he?
I don't think so.
So he says anyway.
What he says is Christian.
Yeah, he bounces between the two of them, I think. I think he bounces between the two.
I don't think he is. I think he's a Muslim. It's just...
We'll Google it now, Ben.
Google it, yeah, check it out. But
Google it, because I know he's banging back on about Christianity in Europe and all that again now. I believe that he really only... He might have followed... Is it still Islam, is it?
Still
I don't
Islam,
know what he's banging about all the Christian cross and all that for then.
Do you know why Christianity, like, look, I've met my missus now in 2020, right? She's Eastern European. God has shown me so much because, you know, when we think we know everything, God levels us up automatically, right? So all my life I've dated Asian girls.
Yeah.
I
am listening to you.
I never dated a white English girl or white Caucasian girl ever, even though I went to a predominantly white school. I had so many opportunities to go out with an English white girl, but I never did.
Sorry. Andrew Tate shares why he became Orthodox Christian and now attends church twice a week. In a world where values shift, some traditions remain strong. That was on the 24th of February, 2025. But also, since converting, Tate has posted content discussing Islamic principles and reportedly attended Islamic lectures. So I'm assuming he just bounces from one to the other, what he feels like doing.
Look, at the end of the day, look, guys, when it comes to studying religion, aspects of all religion, right, you have to cross-reference. And the thing is, Islam teaches you so much in abundance compared to other religions that it's got so much metaphysics in there to understand and decipher. And then when you look at Christianity, you have to take on board Jesus's own quotes. Forget about Mark, Luke, John, and all these lot, because they give their own narratives. So when someone's writing something with his own narrative, he's misleading the whole aspect of the analogy to what he believes. So that's his assumption-based narrative that you are going to start programming yourself with, which is not correct. You, as a seeker of the truth, have to apply your own study and then cross-reference it with all the religions. So meaning that you have to open-heartedly read not only the Bible, you have to read the Quran and the Torah and all other religions open-heartedly and then cross-reference all of them in order to come to the ultimate conclusion of truth. Okay? Now, the thing is, when you're reading something which is based on someone's assumption, a narrative, and that's their assumption, then you are programming yourself to have that as your core belief, which takes you away from the total truth, because you fail to cross-reference. And that's what I find whenever I talk with a lot of people nowadays. Okay, so in aspect to now, when I met my wife now, look, I was in prison in 2017 now, yeah? I got remanded to 2020. I came out, and then a month later, the lockdown started, right? Now, when I went inside, I was in a 10-year relationship with a girl who basically abandoned me when I needed her the most. And, you know, from that, it led to many other things. Whilst I was inside prison, I was padded up with a guy called Bagger. He was my best cellmate out of the whole prison sentence I done. This guy, and he was ex-army. He was Sikh though, ex-army. I was ex-navy. And me and him together were a good unit. He was my best cellmate that I had. And, you know, I got a lot of love for the guy, even though we don't speak no more. You know, it is what it is. But the thing is, I got a lot of love for this guy because, you know, he was my pad mate. We were like brothers inside, right? And eventually then when I came out, now he said to me inside, "Oh, I bet you're going to marry a white girl." I said, "Why?" He goes, "Because just the way you are." You said, no, you're going to marry Asian. But, you know, the way you are, I'm telling you, God, you're going to end up marrying a white girl. And do you know what? He was bang on the button. He fucking is so spot on, because I came out within 6 months. I wanted to evaluate that certain people snaked me and set me up to go prison, and I just want to know the truth, because they're never going to tell me the truth. So I have to dangle a carrot in front of them and wait for them to snap and go for it. Do you understand? So I done that. When I come out within 6 months, I wanted to analyze who snaked me and who done me wrong out of everyone. And the people who I trusted the most who snaked me, they went for the carrot, and I knew straight away the snake. So I separated from them. I separated from everyone, and I said, I'm going to move to Liverpool. So I moved here. I met my missus. She's Slovakian, Caucasian, white. And do you know what? It's been a real eye-opener. You know, all my life I dated only Asian girls. I wanted to marry a Muslim lady because I thought they'll understand my faith, my culture and everything. As much as I revealed the truth to the women, they never believed. The men never believed. They still done the snaky business and betrayed me. Basically stabbing a sword in the back of the person. Literally backstabbed me, every single one of them. And this is why I moved away from my own people, because I thought, what's the point me being with my own people when they're the same people who piss in the same plate that they eat from? They're not very Muslim then, are they? Because a Muslim doesn't do that. A Muslim doesn't cheat. A Muslim doesn't steal. A Muslim doesn't betray you. If I can live with that conduct inside myself, then why the fuck is it that every single person that I show love to, who's supposed to be of my same faith, is keep snaking me, throwing me under the bus for a gain of wealth? And this is why I walked away from them, and I moved to Liverpool, because I thought to myself, you know what? I made all my money through white people, and they've never snaked me. They've never cheated me, right? And then I just thought, when I was in the Navy, it was the Scousers that helped me when I went through racism. It was the Scousers that stepped up and said, nah, you know, leave him, otherwise you've got to go through us. And everyone backed off. So I realised that Scousers are feared out of all the rest of the white people. You've got Geordies, you've got Irish, you've got Cockney, you've got so many different types of white people, but the Scousers are the most feared, right? So I learnt that in the armed forces. Then it was in prison in 2017 when I was doing my custodial sentence. I helped out a Muslim guy, gave him my clothes because I got decat. There was a Scouser lad banging the door, boom, 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 boom. Like, no, don't do that. What are you doing? You're snitching, boom, boom, boom. So basically he got cell spun because they found he must have had a phone in his cell. So they found a SIM card in his cell. He goes, basically Mirza gave me these jeans. A SIM card was in the pocket of those. It was a complete lie. He chatted shit, basically.
Who said they're a Scouser or a
No,
Muslim?
this Asian guy did. Because I thought, I help people out because I'm going to go to an open prison. I can bring my own clothes or give my clothes away for people, like, you know, charity, helping people out. So I helped out the needy. This guy snitches on me. The Scouser's banging on the door saying, listen, what you're doing is wrong. I'm going to fucking tell him. So then, I didn't even know this. I get cell spun. My whole cell gets spun, and I'm thinking, what the fuck? And they're looking for a phone and whatever. But they didn't find nothing. And I got held back. I was supposed to go on the next bus, but they didn't take me on the bus. They let someone else go instead of me, and this just spun my cell. And then I found out why I got held back, because this guy's fucking gave false reports about me. So the scouser came and told me, he said, bro, I heard everything. This prick got cell spun, and to get out of it, he goes, oh, I got the jeans off of Mirza, and the SIM was inside the pockets of the jeans. You know, that's how he found it. So that's a lie. But anyway, the guy goes, I'm going to deal with him. He goes, don't worry, you don't need to lose your DCAT over this. I will take care of it because you're a good guy. Boom, boom, boom. That's it. So he dealt with it. In return, all I gave him was a card of spice, man. Like, you know, sorted out. He goes, oh, you have to do that. I said, don't worry about it. I'll give you 2. So it was like £50 each. I got him 2 for 100. That's it. He was buzzing. So that was his little thing. But he took his PlayStation, his stereo, everything out of the cell and slapped him up. And that's it. You know, teach him a lesson. So that's it. When I come out, I thought, that's it. I'm washing my hands with these people. No matter how much good you do to your own people, they will throw you under the bus. They will stab you in the fucking back, even if you save their mum from going into the fire. It doesn't matter. They will still stab you in the back. So I walked away from my own people because of that, and I came to Liverpool, and then I knew that this is the city of the Phoenix, and, you know, my knowledge started to come together now. All the stuff that I learned, which I'll reveal to you guys in the, you know, the astrology, the astronomy, the deciphering of the verses through the Quran, how they are pinpointed through the numbers. This is not me manipulating anybody, because I've seen people who are claiming to be Mahdi and this and that out there, and they are manipulating verses and then changing them to transform people, like as in manipulate people. Okay, I don't need to do none of that, because I don't even, you know, I've never been educated as a Muslim. I've never been to no Islamic school or anything. So for me to have the knowledge today is God-given, you know, because I get downloads now direct from God. I know that they're not normal, because when I go to, I'll give you an example. Like, I went to sleep, I got attacked on TikTok by my own people, right? I got violated verbally. So when I went to sleep that night, I was going to pray and I was going to wish bad on this person, but I didn't. I thought, no, I don't want to do that, because he's got children and I don't want no bad happening to the kids. They're innocent. So I just prayed and I went to sleep. As I was going to sleep, I had tears dropping because I was emotional of why people are violating me. So anyway, God came that night. I got a connection with God, and God revealed to me like so many beautiful things, and he made me feel, you know, he made, every time I have a connection with God, it uplifts me. It makes me feel happy, right? So on this occasion, I got these downloads of information of creation, how God creates, you know, the aspect of the 4 seasons linked to the 4 elements, and us being water and earth in opposed to the wind and fire. So we're entities of earth and water, but we still have the wind and fire aspect within us as well. So all of this was broken down to me in a miraculous way, and that's it. It basically lifted me up, and I woke up the next day feeling top of the world then, you know. So that's how I get motivation and upliftment, from when people make me feel sad or bad, or, you know, try to attack me and make me get, you know, attack me and get me into my negative vibrations, like into low vibrations. I have to somehow lift myself back into the light, and it's not easy sometimes. You know, when you've been through abuse and so much shit in life, it's easy to fall into the darkness. It's how to maintain yourself and keep yourself in the light. That's the hard task. And someone who's been through a lot of bullshit in life, there's, you know, it's easy for you to easily fall back into the darkness. Someone who's been through abuse and so forth, they'll know what I'm talking about. You know, very little things can trigger you to go back into that negative emotion.
Is that what keeps you going?
What's that?
We're going to go into a sensitive subject in a minute. And I'm going to say, is that what keeps you going with
Oh,
it?
what keeps me going is to keep going, because I learned that from a young age, from when I was left to be abused, basically. You have to survive, and you have to think of how you're going to survive to the next day. So once you pass your day to day in success, you want to move into the next. Now, sometimes you drop your guard, and that fucking vulture or hyena is there around the corner ready to boom, grab you and then take you away. So you're back into your fucking bullshit again, because now you've experienced another attack. Do you mean? Because you're vulnerable as a kid, right? So you have to bring yourself into harmony and keep going the next day. Otherwise it's going to swallow you up into darkness. So as a kid, I was quite learnt that, you know what, don't hold these feelings inside, let them go and keep going. Do you know what I mean? So I learnt to bury these feelings and keep thriving to move forward. And what keeps me going now, I was burnt out, man. I'll be honest with you. When you met me in the, I was literally like burnt out, fighting to survive, and I didn't like it. I'm having to come from the bottom up now and not taking those shortcuts where I've been used to. Like, if I, show you some of my things, man. I used to buy £1,000 shoes, £1,600 shoes, like without blinking an eyelid. Yeah, I'll go into a store in New Bond Street in London. I'll pull up in like a Rolls Royce Phantom Drophead, for example. I'll go inside the store and I'll spend 10 grand on clothes with so many 10 different shoes, each costing £1,000, right? So I'll come out with the whole bags and throw them in the car and drive off, right? So there was a lifestyle I was living once, and I've dropped from that big time, right? So I've dropped from that lifestyle, gone to prison, come out, and I had to start from the bottom. And this time round, I don't want to go back into my back. Like I've sworn to God and told him that I'm not going to do nothing haram now. So I've done Tawbah, right? So Tawbah means basically I've said I will never do something and I won't take the shortcut. So I've made that declaration as a promise to God. So I will stick by it no matter what. So when you saw me coming to the and working with you guys, I'm working legit for a salary way less than what I'm capable of making in the road, in the street. So all that, I had to condition myself to do that, where hard work is good for the spirit and your soul. Do you know what I mean? Regardless of what anyone says, it's better to go out. It's no point sitting idle at home doing nothing and then crying to yourself that, oh, I've got nothing. That's you to blame. The way I see it, when you're in that moment, you need to go out and graft, because that covers your depression and anxiety. It takes over. So being busy is the best thing ever, because you're not going to have time to get depressed and for your anxiety to kick in as long as you're busy. So that's what I done. So when you met me, I was back into that mode of grafting day in, day out, because I knew, yes, it might not be giving me the money equivalent to what I used to earn, but it's good for my spirit, it's good for my soul. Because if I stay at home idle, I'm going to go back into depression, anxiety, and that's the worst thing to be in. So if you do work, God will open a doorway. As long as you show God that you are committed and going out there grafting, God will open a doorway for you. And this is where I met you. This is where you open a new path, a new yellow brick road for me to come onto that on this podcast with you, and not only interview people but also share my own story, which I shared with some of the guys in the, and they were like a bit gobsmacked, I suppose, but it is what it is. At the end of the day, it's time for me to unveil that, and I've got the confidence in me now to do it, which I never had 20 years ago, because I understood the stuff in a superficial way. Now when I read the Bible or the Quran and anything of religion, it's like I get next level downloads, mate, and it makes sense to me. I don't know how it's done, but I unravel things and I put it together in a next level way, man. It's like God teaches me. It's like God is talking to me direct. It's weird. It's hard to explain, but I don't think there's anyone out there that can challenge what I say, because I just make an impact with it. And then there's people out there who say, oh, it's all in the mind, it's all consciousness and this and that. I'm like, mate, you're all talking shit. You're fucking talking nonsense. They're like, why? I said, because it's all bullshit. It's all like neither here or there. I said, look, I'm a normal layman person, yeah? What you're saying to me, I don't fucking understand it. It's all bullshit. And why is it that when I explain it, it can make sense to even a chav off the street who's had no education, or a normal layman person would understand it? I can explain it in absolute depth and people will be like, wow.
Yeah, well, we're going to go into that now, and it is a bit of a sensitive subject, really, isn't it? But you've brought all your documents with you. I'm going to let you, you've taught for 90% of this anyway, but I'm just going to let you start from where you want to start with your evidence. I'm not going to butt in or not, and I'm just going to let you.
Oh, with the Jesus thing.
Whatever you want to do, yeah.
The Jesus thing. Okay, so this is where it comes down to, right? So the name isn't Jesus, it's Jesus, okay? So like the Scousers will understand it more than anything, because look, you had Jurgen Klopp, yeah? His name is with a J, but you don't say Jurgen, do you? No. Right? So you guys should understand it, because in Europe, when you say J, it's not J, it's a Y, right? So like the name Sonia, it's S-O-N-J-A, yeah? That's how they spell it in Eastern Europe, right? But they say that it's not Sonja, it's Sonia. Sonia, exactly. So same way, when people say Jesus, you're saying the whole name incorrectly, because it's never a J. Do you know what I mean? It's a Y really, right? Jesus.
You explained this to Dave, didn't you? Remember?
Yeah. I explained
on the podcast upstairs. That Dave.
Yeah. So now, if you look at the word Israel, it's a I. Okay, I, and that's where it comes down to. Israel is really Israel. Okay, so Israel, what's the meaning of it? It's God's binding. Now, the country who's claimed the title today, they've hijacked the name. They've hijacked Jesus's identity, basically. That's the Ashkenaz. The Ashkenaz have hijacked and stolen the identity of the Messiah, basically. Now, the way you're going to know it is how. Now, think about this. Now, this comes down to Hebrew gematria as well as the Arabic Quran. It's a Semitic language from right to left. Not just that, the Vedic language as well. Sanskrit. Not just Sanskrit, all languages. Forget it. Let's just go all languages, all across the board, okay? Now, from the beginning of time, no one man can sustain a lifespan from the beginning to the end. It's not impossible. It's not possible, because we decay like a fruit. So you got an apple, you put it on a fruit bowl, you haven't touched it 1 week, 2 weeks. What happens? It gets wrinkled. Like a person skin gets old when he gets 70, 80s, gets all wrinkled, right? So it's the same thing with us as humans. We are young, with young flesh and skin, but as we get older, we become wrinkled and old, yeah? We decay. The body decays, I call it. So the thing is, ultimately, you got to recognize that there's a first man that was made, and all humans are linked to him through the DNA, right? And then there's a man who's going to come at the end of time, who's going to come into the world. Now, you can't come as Superman in this world. You have to be born in the earth realm. And to understand that, you got to understand that the miraculous birth of Jesus coming ahead of his time, which is at the end of time, which is mentioned in the Old Testament, that he's going to come at the end of time. But he's come as a miracle unannounced. And that birth was a miraculous birth for a reason, because he was born ahead of his time through a vessel, which was a Virgin Mary. So she's not part of his DNA, really. He's not made of her DNA. She's just chosen as a vessel to give him birth into the world. So that was the miraculous birth, not fulfilling the covenant that God made with Abraham, that God said to Abraham that from this day forth, your name is no longer Abram, it's Abraham, and you are going to be a father of all the prophets that are going to come, who are going to be coming into the world, and many great, and some great kings, not all great kings, some. So he says, all the prophets will come from your bloodline and some great kings, not all. And that's it. And he goes, to honor this covenant, you have to circumcise yourself. Now, Abraham was an old man at this stage. So he had to circumcise himself and Prophet Lot and all the male children that will ever be born from his lineage. Everyone has to be circumcised from thousands of years beyond. So this covenant was made with Abraham. Now, this covenant wasn't fulfilled when Jesus came ahead of his time, because Jesus was not born through male conception. Think about that. He came ahead of his time as a miracle, and he came as a miracle and he left as a miracle. The reason you can't class the body as being dead on the earth, because only that person classes as being dead is whose body is remaining on the earth to resurrect. So to understand this, you have to understand the notion of creation. To understand the notion of creation, one has to understand the life force. The life force, if I was to say to you that I believe in the positioning of the stars and the life force that sparks the beat of life in all things living, you know, it's a powerful statement, this, because it tells you that there's a cosmic order that is moving the way the day and the night is moving. The day chases the night chases the day. And that goes on for 365 days of the year, going back into 365 in the following year. But in that 365 days, you have what? A month, 12-month cycles. So you've got waxing of the moon coming to the 3 full moons, and then the waning of the moon. Okay, that's 1 month cycle, breaks down into 12-month cycles, which then breaks into 4 seasons. Okay, so the 4 seasons, you have spring, where the rain falls. Rain is water. Water gives what? Life to the earth. When we drink water, it gives life to what? Our internal organs, because the body is 70% water inside. So even like your blood cells are individual blood cells which are marching away, cleansing and attacking all the aspects of all the aspects of problems in your body, illnesses. It attacks it, and it acts individually, right, until it gets corrupted and it turns cancerous. Then it's because it's stagnated in a spot. So when you see a river flowing, where this stagnation is where the dirt is built up and it gets really dirty, you're not going to drink from there, right? So imagine an area which is stagnated, you're going to feel pain there. That's because it's got stagnated blood. And when that becomes hardened, that becomes cancerous. And that's where cancer is developed. So you got to understand that the flow inside the body has to be constantly flowing. And where there's stagnation, you need to get that out of you as quick as possible, because that's where you're going to get disease now and illnesses, right? So you got to understand how the blood cells are working as individual cells, even though that is you as a person, that is your cell. In DNA wise, that's you. So the thing is, you got to understand that when we break down, even internally, the water gives life to the internal, which gives obviously sustenance to the heart and the mind, right? So the way I explain the seasons, you got spring, summer. Summer is the season of growth, because without the sun, there's no fresh vegetation. And that's a new cycle, fresh vegetation for the earthly beings to eat. And then you've got autumn. Autumn is where all the leaves blow off. The wind, the season of the wind, takes away all the leaves and everything bare naked. And then it's the season of death, which is winter. It kills off the earth, ready to start the next cycle. Now, that's an annual cycle of the 4 seasons. But in that annual cycle, what happens to the human? He gets 1 year older. True or not?
Yeah, obviously, yeah.
So you're 1 year older now. That cycle breaks into 9-year cycles of your body, internal. You are going up in 9-year cycles. Now, how do you understand all of this? If you don't pay attention to that, we are created from life force of 2 individuals. You got male, you got female. When you intertwine like that, it's like the DNA. Have you seen the shape of the DNA? It goes like that. Now think about it. What happens when a man mates with his wife? You intertwine and become one. And what happens in the heat of love and passion? What happens when you hit climax together? What happens? You feel it inside you. It's a burst of what? Supernova. Supernova is what? A starburst, bursting, right? But what does God teach us? A supernova is giving what? Life, creating life. God has deliberately planted this inside the earthly beings.
I seen a video the other day when the sperm cell hits the egg and it creates life, a big beam of light.
Beam of
Apparently
light,
comes
supernova.
from it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so now you know that I'm telling you the truth.
Yeah, I seen a video the other day.
So you intertwine and become one. You release the supernova from inside you. You ejaculated. You feel that. Now, if you done that in an aspect of sin, what happens? If you did that without your wife and done it to it in a brothel, what would you feel? Instead of, when you ejaculate, instead of feeling happy, what would you feel? Darkness coming in. Your light has escaped from you and darkness has come in and you feel the guilt. Right or wrong? True, yeah? Now, this is to anyone listening. If you do this, cheating, you feel darkness coming in because the guilt comes in, okay? And the light has ejaculated out of you. This is a powerful light, this life force, because this gives life. You create life out of this. So you have to safeguard this energy, but people don't realize it. So this energy has to be safeguarded. Your flesh and her flesh becomes one flesh. Even if your blood does not match her blood, you know, our blood, we have different types of blood types, right? If your heart is not going to go in her heart, if you're A positive and she's O negative, right? Your hearts will not work. So you can't put your heart into her heart as a heart transplant, right? It ain't going to work. But if the blood types match, it can work. But what God doesn't say, oh, you can't marry him or her. You can marry anyone. But who creates the baby in size and creates the formula of the blood? God does, not you, not no doctor, not no scientist. Who does this miracle? God does. If two people are not meant to be together and their blood types don't match, God still allows you to have a child. He will work the DNA as your flesh and her flesh become one. He'll work out the DNA for that child and he'll give it a unique blood type. Totally out of your... You cannot intervene in this creation. God has created a being which is going to have your DNA and her DNA, and he's going to carry your ancestral DNA going back thousands of years within him, and he'll have a unique blood type, right? Now, when a baby's being formed, this is something of the Trinity, which they give you a Father, Son, Holy Spirit. It's all bollocks. I never said this. Jesus never said Father, Son, Holy Spirit. This is what the fucking disciples came out with after. It's all bollocks, right? Because I don't want to disrespect anybody, but scientifically this doesn't make no sense to you or Ben or any single person. You cannot logically make sense of this in a scientific way in today's age. And this is the age where all knowledge is on earth, and it has to make sense scientifically. So I'm going to prove to you guys scientifically that everything works the way I explain the kingdom of heaven. Because if I am the one who stated it 2,000 plus years ago that the kingdom of heaven is within you, only I can give the truth for it, because I said I'm going to come back at the end of time to reveal this. So the Trinity that they came out with, which is hocus pocus crap, is scientific, because every man and woman, when they come together and they create the supernova to create life, it's internal. It's the womb of the mother. You've got, you know, the shape with the little round circle and it goes down like a cross. That's basically a shape of a vagina with the ovaries on each side and the little baby, the whole, yeah.
The Christian cross with the circle on top?
Yes.
The Orthodox one?
Yes.
Yeah.
So basically this cross is basically the round circle is the womb. The ovaries right and left is where the eggs are, and then it comes in from the portal, right? So this is where you create life. This is basically a womb of a lady, right? So this cross represents the woman. Okay, now I'm going to explain it to you how it all works, because this is where you ejaculate and have the supernova. Your flesh and her flesh become one, and inside this womb is a child that is created. Now, when the baby is being created, what's the first thing from a fetus? As the fetus is formed, what's the first thing? You've got the brain and the physical vessel that's surrounding it. Okay, so the physical vessel has a brain as an organ, and then it's got a little heart now, but the heart's not beating. Think about this. So you've got the body and the mind and the body coming together, being formed. Upon 3 months, after 3 months, God sends the command of the Spirit. So the Trinity that Jesus spoke about was the mind, the physical body, the vessel, and then the Spirit has come in and sparks the beat of life into the heart. That means that 3 are coming into 1. That's why when you touch your heart or put your head on your girl or your missus's chest and just listen to a heartbeat, it goes boom, boom, boom. Normally it's a 3 beat, but you don't hear the 3rd. If your heart is good, you're only going to hear like almost 2, but it's actually 3. If you got a damaged heart, you're going to hear boom, 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 boom. It's 3 beats for a reason. So the mind, the physical body, and the spirit, when it comes in, spark of life, boom, the heart starts beating. Now she's got a heart of her own inside with a baby inside, which has its own heart because it's in the belly. But there's no soul in that still, because what? In 3 months is not enough to actually form the full head with the eyes, nose, mouth. It's only 3 months. So it's still a little ball with a little brain, a tiny little maggot heart, which is not pumping yet. But then when God sends the Spirit into it, it activates all 3 into 1 into the heartbeat, right? So this is the Trinity where Jesus spoke about. No bullshit of Father, Son, Holy Spirit. It's all crap. They feed you all that nonsense. No person, your DNA, your brain, and your physical body and your spirit are unique to you. They are different from his and they're different to mine. Look, you're physically stronger than me. You're bigger, taller. Do you understand? Your brain is different and your spirit is quite different, okay? And I'll explain it to you how it works. This is where true astrology comes in. Not stuff that you read off the newspaper. That's crap. This is based on your name, your date of birth, your time of birth, and how the cosmos was positioned at the time of your birth, okay? All the stars and the planets are positioned in a unique way. So you'll understand that the brain has a zodiac, your heart has a zodiac, and your physical body has a zodiac, and so does your spirit have a zodiac. But then so does your soul, okay? So how does this work? The 3 months, 3 are coming to 1. Now another 6 months are going to go where you are going to grow in the womb. Your head will be shaped. Your eyes will be developed. Your nose, your ears, your mouth, your bum, everything is going to be developed. And now 9 months is completed. The baby will come out of the womb into the world. And then when he takes his first breath as is delivered, they're going to cut his umbilical cord. He's going to take his first breath, and that's when the soul comes into the baby. Okay, because when the baby comes into the physical world, it activates with the first breath his eyes, his nose, his ears, and his genitals, as well as his hand and his feet, right? So these are places of senses, activates your senses. The purpose of the soul coming in and activating your senses is that from that moment onward, everything is recorded. Your soul's purpose is to record all the pain and trauma that you experience in life, as well as all the happiness and joy. Okay, because think about this. You have a heart, but what makes your soul feel so very deeply? What makes it feel so very deeply is because you've taken that first breath. Now the soul sits where the heart is. The heart is the seat of the soul, as they say, right? So the heart is the seat of the soul. It records all the pain and the trauma that you experience in your entire life, as well as the happiness and joy. So until your last breath, when you exhale your last breath and you finish in this life, what happens to the body? The body is dead. Essentially, the body, whether it gets cremated in the earth or whether it gets buried in the earth, you turn back to the dust. Whether they blow that dust in the wind, if you've been cremated or thrown it in the ocean or the river, you return back to the source you were created from. Yes or no?
Yeah.
Okay, so when you get buried, the same thing. You return back into the earth. Your physical body with the brain and all your organs are buried in the ground, disintegrating back to the dust. What goes away? Your spirit and your soul. That doesn't get buried. Think about that. That goes. So Jesus, in Jesus's case, when he came into the world as a miracle, his body was nowhere to be seen in the earth. So if there was resurrection, he wouldn't resurrect out of the earth. Why? Because his physical body is not here. God raised the physical body as well as the spirit and the soul together. So there's no Jesus as classed as dead on the earth then, is he? How can he die if his remains are not here? Do you understand? So when he came as a miracle, he was raised as a miracle. Why? Because his true time of coming is through male conception, as he is the Son of Man. And he always said, I'm the Son of Man. Bible is filled with him saying what? I'm the Son of Man. I'm the Son of Man. He's never said I'm the Son of God. People said that against him. He's not the fucking Son of God. How am I the Son of God if I am walking the earth today proving that I am the Son of Man, born from the bloodline, which is very unique? Bloodline of kings. I'm from the Kshatriya bloodline of the Indians with the symbol of the bull next to it. Do you know what I mean? Like, yeah, a lot of people won't want to believe that. But at the end of the day, I'm telling you the truth. And then I've got the Turk blood in me from the Seljuk Empire. So Turk, Seljuk, meaning not the New Age Turk, because there was no Turkey then. They were basically, Persia was conquered by the Seljuk Empire. And they're the people who converted my ancestors from 1,000 years ago into Islam. And we were Jaral Rajput. So that's the bloodline that I come from. But the Kabbalah astrology of the Hebrews will reveal everything. So I've got post off of it, which I'm sure you've seen.
Yeah, I've seen you put a few things up.
So that is basically based on Kabbalah of the Jewish mysticism and Jewish astrology. So I don't practice no magic or anything, but you have to apply these esoteric studies in order to reveal the truth from all religions. So if I am the king of the Jews, i.e. the Messiah of Yahweh, it will be revealed through my name and my date of birth with my mother's maiden name. So according to my birth certificate, when I was born, 1982, so on here, Abir Mirza, that's my name, right? As you can see, yeah?
Yeah.
Now, when you convert that to Hebrew, it translates to Israel. Israel.
You showed me this.
Yeah, so the God's binding, it means, right? But then when you look at my mother's name, Zahida Iqbal, Abir Zahida Iqbal, that equals to the value of 384 on the Hebrew gematria, which equals what? The Messiah of Yahweh. Now, you can't say that I'm born, my birthday is a coincidence, my real name is a coincidence, then my mother's name's a coincidence. Okay, cool, that's beautiful.
You are going to get people who are saying...
Yeah. So that's cool. I get that. But then you'll have to say, okay, the mark is a coincidence on the body. The whole appearance is a coincidence.
Do you want to show the mark?
Yeah, so there's a mark on my back.
I've seen the mark, by the way.
You haven't. And then I've got my rank on my shoulder. So the Prophet had his rank on his left shoulder, the Muslim Prophet. Mine's on my right shoulder, right? So it's a little mole just on the top here, right?
Oh, yeah.
So that's the little mole there, right? So the Prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, peace and blessings be upon him, he had his mark on the left shoulder, because I'll explain why that is and why mine's on the right side, because I'm the right hand. Basically, when you watch when I reveal to you the Hebrew astrology when you convert my name to Hebrew from the Hebrew calendar, it comes out on the 22nd day of the fasting month, of the month of truth. So I was born on the 7th of Iyar 5742, which lands on the month of truth on the 22nd day of the very special fasting, right? Born on a Friday, by the way, yeah? So then coming to the Islamic calendar, it bloody blows it out like it's next level. So basically, my date of birth, when you convert it to the Islamic calendar, it turns to the 7th of the month of Rajab. So I was born on Thursday to Friday. So Friday, midnight, 30th of April, Thursday to Friday at midnight as it converts over. So I was born on the 7th of the 7th month, 1402. 1 plus 4 plus 0 plus 2 equals 7, 777. And today we are in the year, I'm 43 years old, so 4 plus 3 equals 7. And then we are today in the year of 1447 AH. Now add 1 plus 4 plus 4 plus 7 is what? 16 plus 1, 6 plus 1 is 7. Do you understand? So this is the alignment. The alignment is now for me to be at 43 years of age, coming back, born in 1402, 777, but now that's coming to alignment of 777. So there's a reason why I have to unveil before this year ends. And it's not a coincidence that my life path is number 9. Now, if you look at 2025, it's a 9. 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 5, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's a 9 year. So my destiny, my life path is a 9, meaning that this is part of my destiny to unveil. So it's not that I'm claiming anything. No, I'm only stating what is my birthright through God, which is intertwined with all the celestial systems of all the ages of all religions. So it's not just the Hebrew calendar, it's not just the Islamic calendar, but the Vedic calendar of the Hindus, as well as all calendar systems that have ever existed, including the Egyptian astrology. So for example, they say, Horus. Horus is what? The sun god is going to unalive his brother Seth. Seth is son Set. Set is darkness. But he's not my brother. I don't have no brother called Seth, right? This is what they say, but I am still born under the stars of Horus. So Horus is part of my astrological thing. So the way it works in the Christian faith is they believe that Taurus the bull, Leo the lion, Horus the eagle, all into one man, as in Jesus, is going to be under these symbolisms, right? But I understand it. Taurus the bull, why? Because the body, the physical body is the earthly. So Taurus is a sun, is an earth sign, meaning that my body is made of the earth. Taurus the bull. Leo the heart, the lion, is the heart, like Richard the Lionheart. Why is he called Richard the Lionheart? Because, you know, heart of a lion, but really it's linked to Jesus, as in Leo the lion is where his heart is courageous, unwavering, and I'm stubborn as a bull, meaning that if I'm in the right, I don't care what it is. You can take my life, mate. I ain't gonna waver off the truth. I'm gonna stay steadfast on that path, stubborn. I don't care what anyone says, because I know what the truth is. I'm not shifting. Do you understand? But then my ideals and beliefs are regal like a lion, because that's where the heart is. My soul is water with link to the wolf, and then you've got, you know, the brain and the spirit, you know, these are separate. So they all come through astrology from all different aspects of religion, and God is the creator of the cosmic order. So he is the controller of time as well as all the calendars. It's just people need to recognize, to decipher it, you need to work on yourself, your own name and date of birth. That's the only way you're going to learn your secrets, the way I learned these. Do you understand? And this is what needs to be revealed to the world, because everyone's brain zodiac, mind, body, spirit, soul, heart, all have different zodiacs. And we have the characteristics of all of those, which are in alignment with ourselves. So the thing is, what you need to discover from here is that the way I explained that we go through the seasons, your mind, your body, your heart, your soul, your spirit, they all go through their own seasons of all the seasons. So there's a season of death. So when you feel down in the brain, depressed, there's a reason for that. When your body feels lethargic and down and feel like you've taken light, there's a reason for that. Same as the heart. So you need to study this, because from this you'll understand, like these gemstones. These gemstones are linked to the different planets. So when you're going through a negative phase cosmically, how do you balance your energy into positivity? Okay, so you need to know that which gemstones are linked to your planets, which are going through negative stages through your chart. and how to amplify them. So I can also go and refer this to the story of Joseph, because Joseph had a dream where he had the sun and the moon and all the planets submitting to him, right? This is literally the case with me. So when you check my date of birth out, all the planets are basically in alignment in a beautiful way, where I'm in the middle and they are submitting to me from all directions. There's 2 stars, 5-pointed stars. So it's not 6.5-pointed stars, a big one on the main one, and then a smaller one on the left. Do you know what I mean? So there's 2 stars, which I've shared these as well on a post. So this is not me making anything up. It's all there for everyone to understand. But then people say, oh, then there could be someone else called the same name. How comes it's not him? Well, if
I was
someone
going to ask you that, to be honest.
someone said that to me, I say, okay, if you send there's so many, bring me one. No one brings me another one. Yeah, you're going to find Abir Mirza, but not Abir Khalid Mirza. And if supposedly someone's got the same name, Abir Khalid Mirza, then they're not going to have the same mother's name. And even if they do have the same mother's name, supposedly, then they're not going to be born on the same day as me, because if that's going to work, then there'll be many. But I don't think there is. Do you mean? So you're not going to get all these as coincidences. Like, how can one person have more than 30 coincidences linked to him? Or, like that can't be a coincidence then, can it? And then having the ability to say so much, where I've never been educated by no schools of education of religion. Do you mean? As you know, I've never been educated in that. So where's all this knowledge coming from then? Where, like, I'm not a fraud. I'm not lying to people and misleading, because at the end of the day, I don't want nothing from no one. I don't want your money. Anyone listening, I don't need nothing from you guys. I don't need your money, because God's given me plenty of my own. I don't need nothing from you guys at all. I don't need your money. I don't want you to follow me, because I'm not here to get you guys to follow me. It's nothing to do with that. All I'm saying is stop believing falsehood and lies. Stop believing in these fake Mahdis and these fake punks who are coming out saying they are the chosen ones, because they're not. Okay? If I'm here and I'm watching all these fake frauds coming, and they've got so much following, and I don't understand. I don't understand how people are blindly following these liars when they've, like, for example, there's this one guy born in 1983. He's a year younger than me, but he looks fucking 10 years older than me. Do you know what I mean? And then he's calling himself the Mahdi, but he's born in the year of the pig. God is not going to make someone who claims to be the chosen one being born in the year of the swine, when that is the animal that Muslims are totally against. Do you know what I mean? So that's what confuses me.
What Dave said ages ago? God put all bad stuff into swine or something. Was he saying that a while back?
Oh, I was saying...
was it you said it?
Yeah, so I was saying pig is a scavenger. When you look at the animal kingdom, you have to pay attention to what you put in your body, because you are what you eat, right? Now, the reason I say that is what you put inside you and you consume, that becomes your flesh. Now, why would anybody want to eat a creature that is a scavenger, that eats the leftovers of all things, and it eats excrement, right? It eats its own waste. It's a disgusting creature. It hasn't even got a neck. Its head is attached to the body, so it can't look to the sky, right? So the animal is would you eat a vulture? Okay, no. Would you eat a hyena?
No. I suppose you probably could eat them back in the ancient days or whatnot.
No. Look. You can eat anything. People eat snakes, people eat crocodiles, people eat all sorts, right? But would you eat a vulture?
I wouldn't go out and say I want a vulture.
Just look, you can eat anything, but would you eat, Ben, even you, would you eat a vulture? Okay, would you eat a hyena?
No, not necessarily, but in different circumstances, if you're out in...
And survival,
yeah,
but still, a hyena.
But no, I wouldn't pay to say, can I have a hyena?
Okay, so look, if you won't eat a vulture or a hyena, why would you eat a pig? Because a pig is no different from them. I actually got more respect for a hyena than a pig, because a hyena can still hunt. Yes, it eats leftovers. Yes, it bloody robs other animals' food. Like it'll rob a cheetah's fresh meat. It'll rob even a leopard's meat. But a lion is very difficult. He can't rob a lion, yeah? But he'll rob most of the animals, yeah? And they're strong. But they are still scavengers as well as, robbers. But, if you were to think about it, a pig is a full-on scavenger like a vulture. And if you're not going to eat a vulture, then I don't understand why people are eating pigs when a hyena is actually better than a pig. But there's a reason why we don't eat hyenas, because we as earthly beings have been given laws from God, right? You've got the king of the green grass eaters, which is the deer. The meat of a deer is supposed to be amazing, right? Venison meat. That's the king of the goats, really, if you think about it. You got you got goats, you got sheep, you've got so many different animals from part of that which only eat grass and natural stuff. Those animals are allowed for us because you are what you eat. God wants us to eat animals that are grazing the earth, right? Part of that. God does not want us to eat animals that eat blood. Do you know what I mean? Now, what happens to a dog if you want to make your dog ruthless? You give him raw meat, blooded meat, and that dog will become a fighter and he'll start attacking humans because it had the taste of blood. So, if you're going to eat blooded meat, what do you think that does to you? Think about this. If you're giving blooded meat to a dog and it makes him mad, then imagine you eating blooded meat.
They turn wild dogs.
Exactly. So God doesn't want us to eat blooded meat. Jesus even said that. Yet people don't follow what Jesus says. They say, oh, Muslims are cutting their neck, this, that, this, that. Little do they know, in the whole of Eastern Europe, whenever you hunt any animal, these guys slaughter it with the neck. So it's not like, oh, Muslims are doing something bad. This is practiced all around the world. It's the best way to consume any meat is to drain the blood out.
That halal.
It makes it halal, but you're supposed to say God's prayer when you slaughter an animal. That you say that, thank you for the meat. God bless us with this meat, and not just that, bless the animal kingdom. So you're blessing the animal as well as blessing the people who have hunted it, and you're thanking God for it, right? So the thing is, if you say the prayer, your meat, what you're going to consume is halal, but not just that, it drains the blood out. So all the germs are pumped out of it, right? Now, if you're electrocuting an animal, the blood is burnt inside. It's inside. It's not leaked out. So you're consuming that. And that's carrying the germs as well. Blood carries germs. So common sense and logic tells you that you should let the blood drain out. Okay? There's nothing wrong in that. But then you've got people who don't apply logic and use common sense. And they don't understand that blood carries disease. And you're not supposed to be eating that. But they're like, oh, yeah, Muslim this and Muslim that. So they are purely speaking out of hatred and racism. Because had there not been hatred, there'll be no racism. But these divisions are created by the elite to divide humanity. And the further we are divided, the devil will win. Because the devil wins by exploiting humans for their differences. And ultimately, that's why humanity is at a loss today, because essentially the devil has he's played a great game in dividing us from the beginning of time. And the best way he's done that is by exploiting us on our differences, as well as the religion aspect as well. And the thing is, the people who are controlling everything, they've rigged everyone against each other, rather than they've deliberately rigged against each other, where they know the truth. They know all the religions complement one another and they can come together, but they have deliberately not allowed this to happen. And that's why I have to come and unveil myself and reveal the secrets, that only through me all religions are binded to oneness, because my name and date of birth is enough for that. I don't need to manipulate any scripture. I don't need to mislead anyone. For example, if you go on Quran 4361, see what comes up. Quran 4361, and this is to everyone. Quran 4361. The reason I say 4361, because I am 43 years old today, and that's 7, is in alignment with the 61, which is 7. And then 1447 is 7. 2025 is the year of the 9, but it breaks down into the Islamic year of 7. So where I am in alignment with 777, and guess what? Rajab the 7th, 1447 is going to be on the 27th of December of this year. So that's where this podcast is going to come out.
Right, 4361 from the Quran. From Surah as Zukhruf, is that the name?
Yeah.
And indeed he, Jesus, will be a sign for the hour. So have no doubt about it and follow me. This is the straight path.
So what do you think of that? In the line,
I've
7-7,
got
innit?
I've got an open mind, in all honesty, but I've got some questions for you, because obviously people want to know. So first question would be, how do you understand your role in the world today?
So my role in the world today is to bring balance to the world by unveiling myself to reveal the truth. It's going to bring problems to me. It's going to put my life at risk, but then at the same time, they can't take me out either, because their sovereignty is going to be under threat now. So all the Middle Eastern nations, from the Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Jordan, all like Kuwait, Qatar, Saudi, UAE, all these countries which were established from the backing of Lawrence of Arabia, basically, and supported by England and America, are going to be under threat now, because I'm supposed to be the king of the world. That's the truth, because God has revealed through my name, Abir Mirza equals Israel. And then when you check it, the reason it's like the father's name is the earth equals Israel, God's binding, and then the afterlife is where your mum's name comes in. So everyone's going to be summoned by their mother's name, mother's maiden name, because that's the afterlife. So you're born with a woman. You can only come into the earthly existence through a woman. So my name, Abir Zahida Iqbal, equals that. My rank on the afterlife is going to be the Messiah of Yahweh. This is not me claiming this. This is part of my name. And it unravels the secret when you see it through the gematria of the Hebrew. Again, I will reveal this to you guys, and you will see it all black and white. This is no Mickey Mouse crap where you have to change or manipulate or change the letter. None of that. It's straight basic. Bam. Do you mean straight up? Other people can manipulate and do whatever, but you don't need to do none of that here. It shows black and white. And not just that, it also reveals the year of deliverance. The 1982 is actually the year of deliverance from the gematria. It's in alignment with the Prophet Muhammad's name through the Hebrew. Do you understand? So this is something that they know in their own scripture, but they buried it. So even the Prophet's name is in the Torah, but they've buried this truth, meaning that it makes you a non-believer. Anyone who buries God's truth from sharing it with the others, that means he's a non-believer. He's basically burdened himself with a major sin against God, and that's not good.
What would you say to someone who doesn't believe you?
Look, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter whether people believe or not. I don't care about any of that. My message is for the world to know that I actually physically am alive and I walk this earth. I've been enduring my own suffering, my own challenges throughout my life, and now is the time for me to unveil myself. Okay, the reason for the unveiling is to basically let the world know that I walk and I am here, and basically the people who are doing evil against God and my people, you better know that your time is running low, because your time is running out, because eventually when the time comes and I do become king, I will summon every single person who's done wrong, including Tony Blair. Tony Blair thinks he's got away with it. If he's still alive and I become king, I will summon this guy before me, and every single corrupt politician who's actually waged war and robbed my Muslim sovereign, all the Muslim nations, exploited them for their oil, their gold, everything. I will summon everyone for justice, because I'm not going to let people get away with it. You can't kill millions of people and think under God's name you've done it and you're going to get away with it. You're not going to get away with it. You're going to be summoned and you're going to be trialed, and I will be judge on that day, and I will execute judgment fairly the way it's supposed to be done.
Right. Do you feel a special mission or responsibility because of it?
Of course, yes, of course, I know this, that this is my destiny, that I have to come out with the truth. And not just that, I need to help the world, I need to heal the world. The biggest challenge for me is to wake the rest of humanity up, to restore faith in the hearts of every single one, because their faith has been stolen. Their honor has been stolen first and foremost, because without honor, you've got nothing. There's no principles in place. If you've got no honor inside you no more, it means that you're going to sell yourself short for everything. Your principles are for sale. Your dignity is for sale to the highest bidder. A woman will go on OnlyFans and show herself off for money. A man will sell his soul to the devil for riches. And today's age, there's no honor in men. I've seen so many people in my life where there's no honor in their hearts whatsoever. So that is a major thing that I want to restore back into humanity all across the board, whether you're white, black, Asian, it doesn't matter. I need to reveal to people through astronomy, through astrology, of all religions, that is going to define you and you as a person. It's going to basically uplift you by revealing to you your secrets of your brain, your heart, your mind, your body, your soul, all of that. And when you come into harmony with your purpose, your spiritual purpose, with your physical body in alignment, your life will transform rapidly in harmony and bliss and prosperity, and God will be fair with everyone. I know when everyone levels up for the true purpose, you're going to feel harmonious inside, full of joy and happiness, because now you're going to realize that your physical body, mindset and everything is in purpose with what you deeply believe in. And with that, you're going to attract wealth and goodness in your life. It's going to become easier. And that's my promise to everyone, that is, your lives are going to become easier and easier, and they're going to start becoming more blissful and happier.
How does your identity fit with historical accounts of Jesus's life?
I think everything kind of synchronizes. I'll be honest with you. I've not had people independently research things. People like to judge me. People like to slander and swear and all sorts, But I ignore it. I tell you why, because I feel that people are at different levels. When you've got someone who's at the bottom of the barrel person, and then you're speaking to someone who's highly educated with not just religion but metaphysical subjects and the internal aspects of how your energy and motion function from within, emotions, right? When someone understands it on a scientific level, at high level, I can have a wonderful conversation with those people. Those people are the ones that show love and respect, whilst the bottom of the barrel people are neither, they show you a lot of disrespect and whatever, but it doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, they're helpless. They can't even help themselves. So it's irrelevant of what they say. It's really the educated one at the higher levels are the ones that are going to give validation to your proof, because they know what to do with it. They know how to investigate it, how to cross-reference it, and how to check it out, whether what I've revealed is really the truth or not, because they're the ones that are going to come out and say, mate, this guy's bang on the button. He is the one. He's not lying here.
And finally, it's sort of 3 in 1. How are you feeling about carrying such a big role? Does this belief bring you peace or stress? And what kind of support do you feel you need right now?
Do you know what? It was a burden on me for the last 20 years. It's been a serious burden. It's been a journey. I'll be honest with you. I've been through hell, man, on this earth. I've been through pain, betrayal upon betrayal. People I shared my secret with who betrayed me and broke my heart. But it's weird, because God is putting all them inside jail now. This year it's weird. It's been a very weird year, because it's like these people are getting picked up and put into prison and all sorts. And, I've had help from you, help from the English people. It's like, it's made me evaluate things. Met my missus, being Caucasian, she supported me straight away. She gave me belief in myself. She helped me rebuild myself. So I moved to Liverpool for a reason, because this is the city of the phoenix, right? The phoenix is going to rise from the ashes, and the phoenix is going to rise from the ashes and is going to take over, and it's going to spread. The people, it's going to start a revolution from Liverpool. It's going to spread nationwide, and then it's going to spread throughout the world. People are going to recognize what the truth is. Like, the prophecy was given to the pagans of this land 4,000 plus years ago, that a boy will be born in this island. He's going to have a name that begins with an A and ends with an R, and he's going to grow old, and he's going to bring justice, truth, and honor in the land. In the land, meaning the earth itself. So justice, truth, and honor, and he's going to rule with the sword of Solomon. But I don't have the sword of Solomon. But in the story, they made it into a fairy tale. Then they made a fairy tale like Sword in the Stone, and then King Arthur and the Knights of Justice. All these fairy tales have come from this prophecy, but this prophecy is thousands of years old, and it's never happened. It's weird. It's ironic, because now I'm here, and I am born on this island. My name does begin with an A and it does end with an R. Abir has got a Hebrew meaning, but I'm not Hebrew. But it means the strong, the mighty, the powerful, the hero, right? But then it's got Islamic meaning, which means sent of heaven, and they named girls with that name, but it's a very masculine name. So I understand its essence, but in aspect of support and help, I feel that the Scousers were marked from over 20 years ago, before the revelation even came to me of my identity. The Scousers were already programmed in, and then Scousers have shown me a lot of love. Scousers have always accepted me. They've helped me. There's also the aspect of Liverpool being blessed in 2025, winning the championship. I made special prayers for not just Mo Salah, but for the team itself. But Mo Salah was special. Mo Salah gets special prayers from me. I always pray for him.
Do it again this year.
I will. And I always got Mo Salah t-shirt on as well, because do you know what? People, when I was in prison, the screws were calling me Salah. Oh, your dad scored. I'm like, you what? My dad, I'm fucking 10 years older than him. I'm 10 years older than Mo Salah. He's 10 years like my younger brother, yeah? But obviously I drive my fancy cars, and when I was in Stockbridge Village, I went to the Nisa store, and kids were there, and they all come around the Porsche, and they're like, oh, do a burnout. Oh, are you a footballer? I said, no. I said, Mo Salah's my brother, my younger brother. They believed it. I said, no, I'm joking. They actually believed it, but there is a resemblance, I suppose. But do you know what? I think this city has been blessed by that person from 2017 to now. That man has blessed this city, and I don't think people realize it. They try to separate faith.
No, Liverpool fans realise it, I'll say.
I hope they do, but there's a lot of people that try to separate it. But I said, no, that man is driven by faith. His core belief is Allah, the Lord of the worlds, and I know that. You can see it in his characteristics, in his character as a human being, the way his wife is, his children. Remarkable person, amazing. And he is he's a role model for not just Islam, but that guy is a role model for the city to look at as a true Muslim. This is what a true Muslim behaves like. This is the true attributes and characteristics of our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So the thing is, when I look at Muhammad Salah, his name is the name of the Prophet, and his surname is to worship God. Salah means come to worship, come to success. So his surname is to worship God, Allah. So, for that two and two put together, God has blessed this city with this man. But not just that, God has blessed him, and he's climbing that ladder of smashing records, which I don't think he gets the credit he deserves up till this day, because I think it's to do with racism, not particularly within the hearts of the Scouser people of Liverpool, but nationwide, because the Scouser people love him. Obviously, he's bringing greatness to their city and their club, but it's the rest of the people. They don't want to recognize him. They don't want to give him the credibility that he deserves. He's accomplished far more than the average Joe, but he still doesn't get the credibility he deserves. So, you know, it makes me think and wonder, but I believe that the city will wake up. I believe that the city will wake up to true values, true principles, which we withhold within honor, as you know, what I was referring to about honor, dignity, all the values that make us good people, bring, you know, instill goodness within. I believe that the Scouser people will come together for the right reasons, and knowledge will start spreading. People, even the layman people, will recognize that this knowledge is available for all people. You don't have to pay for it. It's all online. You have to cross-reference, do a bit of homework, but jot everything down and learn about yourself, because only by looking at yourself, your abilities, will you recognize God, and your faith will become restored. Because you know what? It's too much people, assumptions. Fuck all of that. I'm not going by assumptions no more, because everyone does that. You know, you need to believe for yourself and look within for your sake, because you have gifts. Every single person has gifts. If I'm good at one thing, you're better than me at another, and so is Ben.
Yeah.
I believe that. Do you know what I mean? If I'm a weak person, you know, I'm not that strong compared to you. You're a lot bigger. But what I'm saying is, we are all given gifts in different ways. Some people are more stronger than others physically. Some people are mentally stronger. You know, I'm gifted in ways that is unique in itself. And I know I am the anomaly. I'm unique because my blood type is AB positive. I understand that the way I am born astronomically, you know, my sort of, the aspect of my biology is linked to my cosmology. Do you know what I mean? Cosmology is linked to the biology, which is linked to the DNA and the blood type, and that is with every single human. It's not just me, every single human. Do you know what I mean? So you can decipher and learn a lot, and I think this is what's going to level up humanity all across the world. You know, using all the religions, calendar systems to decipher about oneself. And once you learn about yourself, then how can you give homage only to one religion of Christianity? You can't. You have to look at all of them with truth and say, look, I cannot learn about my whole self unless I take in the Vedic calendar the Gregorian of Jesus, as well as the Egyptian one and the Mayan one. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't mean that you are believing in all of those religions now, is it?
Oh, yeah.
Do you understand where I'm coming from? But you will understand that there's dogma of man-made dogma. Ignore the dogma. But what I'm going to take on board is the aspect of myself from the astronomical aspect, and how is that linked to me, and what will that reveal about me, and what's the gifts that are bestowed upon me. And now putting it all together, okay, so this is the mind, this is the heart, this is the body, this is the soul, this is the spirit. Once you understand all of this, you're gonna basically go through life through slipstream. You know, when you're driving fast, if you're hitting the wind direct, you're going to get resistance. And do you know what I mean? You're going to be going through the wind like with a flat hand, you know, it pushes it back. But when you're going aerodynamically through the wind, you're going through slipstream, right? So your life is going to basically go into slipstream, and you're going to basically go through life with ease. And that's what happens, I believe.
Yeah. Done.
Done,
Nice
yeah?
one, yeah.